Hey guys, catching up on this week's episode of the Miles to Go podcast. Some brutal changes to some of our favorite credit cards, and things are still crazy on the East Coast from a travel perspective. Just got back from some time in Nova Scotia. Richard and I recorded just a couple days ago. And on the East Coast, the weather is causing all sorts of issues, including messing up those New York airports. On the credit card front, both Chase Sapphire Preferred and Chase Sapphire Reserve losing their valuable ability to redeem points on the Chase travel portal at fixed value for your paid airline tickets. Big hit there. Amex, not to be outdone, reducing the 35% rebate on paid business class tickets through their travel portal to just one airline that you select per year. On a brighter note, Emirates transfers are back with a number of the popular points programs. We're talking about all that and our weekly travels on this week's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the Miles to Go podcast. I am remote this week while Richard is home. I am sitting in rural Nova Scotia right now, north of Halifax, with really bad internet connectivity from our good friends at Hilton, waiting to talk to Mr. Kerr about all of the things. Mr. Kerr, how the heck are you?
I am doing, my man. This is not lemonade for those watching on YouTube. Got to be 21 to hold this glass. My wife and I just went and shared a bottle of Chianti at the new Italian restaurant here in Noonan, Georgia. It was a lovely atmosphere, but the baked ziti was just mildly mediocre. But we live and we learn. So it's been a while since we've recorded, not in the middle of the workday. So I'm excited to finally fly off the handle a little bit tonight and let people really know we're gonna have a Festivus for the rest of us, an airing of the grievances. Got a lot of problems with you people. If you don't get that,
I'm excited to have a slightly inebriated Mr. Kerr for podcasting.
No, it was non-alcoholic Chianti. You didn't let me finish.
They call that church wine.
Yeah, it was grape juice. It was a bottle of grape juice we shared. That's what we did.
Oh, let's not go down the road of church wine and priests and all that. That things will just get off the rails very quickly.
Yeah,
we're going to be talking about Emirates. We're going to be talking about American Express. We're going to be talking about Chase. There are all kinds of things to talk about today, Mr. Kerr. Lots of changes in the world, but a little bit of housekeeping first. You can find him on social media at Kerr Points. I am at Pizza in Motion on all those same channels. The Miles to Go podcast on TikTok and Instagram. And you can text us or leave us a voicemail, 571-293-6659. And last I heard, Mr. Kerr, when we were in prep earlier, you said you might even have some additional info on one of our stories, which is the restoration of points transfers to Emirates Skywards program. Just a quick tee up for folks. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that transfer options from flexible currency cards disappeared. And the assumption at that point was that they were never to return again, Mr. Kerr. And it does seem that was incorrect information. And these transfers, which I would say is a valuable transfer partner in certain situations, these transfers are back.
Yeah, true to our promise when we put the date they would return, they returned on time for all Bill members. So you just want to chat about it now since we brought it up? We should just talk about it now. So Emirates upgraded their entire loyalty backend. That is all of the engineering, the platforms, the accounting, the things that make points move from spot to spot, and the things that allow you to redeem Skywards miles for any of their redemption options. They upgraded the entire platform. They started this process a year ago when they contacted us and said, hey, we need to do a lot of work here. And unfortunately, that's going to be a little bit of time where transfers are down. And we had a lot of meetings. We had a lot of working sessions. We had a lot of early mornings getting on the phone with Dubai to go through a lot of testing, and points.com, who obviously facilitates most of our point transfers, not all, but most. And everything went smoothly, I think, because we had a year to plan for this. So we announced back in May the exact dates it would be down. They came back. We tested it. Everything, I would say 99% of everything working fine, but you can once again transfer your points. It looks like from all the flexible currencies are back up. The only difference being, I think Citi made a little bit of a change. It's no longer 1-to-1. But everybody else is back up, and you can once again redeem those Skywards miles.
Yeah, during that break, Citi changed their ratio, as you mentioned, from 1-to-1 to 5-to-4, which now puts them behind everybody else on value for what can be a pretty valuable transfer partner.
Yeah, Fifth Freedom routes, don't ever forget it, over to Athens and to Milan if you're from New York City. I think they now got Miami to Bogota. Is that right? They also have?
Yep. Or maybe it's, yeah, I think it's both. Yeah. Yep.
And are they still doing Sydney to Auckland as well? I have not looked at that in a long time.
I haven't looked at that one in a
Was
long
it
time either. I've booked a couple
right?
of friends on that JFK to Milan route. I wouldn't say there's tons of availability, but I would say there's regularly been availability in the past on business class. And then every once in a while, last minute, you can score first class from JFK to Milan and back, which is pretty awesome.
Now, being the true podcaster that I am now, after all of these years as your sidekick, speaking of changes to programs and things coming back and going, what is going on in the world of premium credit cards over the last week?
I just feel like we just had this, absolute deluge of changes. And I don't know, when was last time that you saw, I won't call it half cocked, but like half baked, rollouts from Amex? Like they're usually like all the details all at once, everything, like all lined up. And I guess they're trying to compete with Chase for the news cycle. But man, the news has been coming fast and furious. And I'll be honest, I'm not really happy about most of it.
I think I've been very open that I have not had an Amex Platinum card for a while now, and I have not had the CSR since I think I had it 2016 when it came out, got those 100,000 points, and just recently picked up the CSP, which I also talked about for the 100,000 points. Yeah, man, I think Amex came out and tried to compete with the news cycle based on all the changes. I think there's a little leak that happened on Chase first, Doctor of Credit, some other people. This rumor changes came around. Now the changes are fast and furious and official. They had a press event, looks like in New York City, with a bunch of influencers last week, and now they've made all the details public, as well as the introduction of the Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business card. I think the only thing we don't know at this point for Chase is the sign-up bonus and welcome offers, but we don't know.
Right.
But for Amex Platinum, we don't know anything of what's going to happen this fall. And again, my complete speculation is that they came out with that just to compete with the Chase news cycle. Here's my overarching thing here. The Chase Sapphire Reserve was not for me before these changes. The Chase Sapphire Reserve, with now a $7.95 annual fee, more coupons, the loss of the 3X everywhere, and the loss of 1.5 cents per point in the travel portal, is definitely not for me. I think Gary had a great article today. Today is June 19th at time of recording, talking about exactly how many billions Chase has lost in the Chase Sapphire Reserve and why they're taking this new strategy. But Chase Sapphire Reserve not going to be in my card portfolio, not going to be Mrs. Kerr's card portfolio. And I think we just should expect to see a lot of the same from the Amex Platinum, an increased annual fee, more coupons, largely a 1X card throughout its history. But I don't know. What do you say, man? You want to go through some of these coupons and things you got to keep track of on a half annual, quarterly, monthly? Like I'm just not going to do it. Been straightforward, everybody. Not going to do it, man. But give us all the download of what's going on with the CSR.
Well, I think first and foremost, I think one of the biggest changes is, as you pointed out, they used to call it points boost, if I remember correctly, but the reduction of the increase in value on redeeming points for cash tickets. And so the benefit here was Chase Sapphire Reserve cardholders could book a paid cash ticket to pretty much anywhere in the world through the Chase Travel portal, and they were redeeming points at a rate of 1.5 cents per point towards that flight purchase. And the reason why this was valuable was especially for international travel, you get some funky itineraries. Maybe you can't put together a points booking. 1.5 cents isn't necessarily great, but in certain cases, when you couldn't book a ticket another way and you could find cheap cash fares, it was a good way to pair things up. And
or
I think
if you're stuck in Atlanta and only have Delta Sky Miles, which are never worth 1.5 cents each, it made more sense to book your Delta flights this way. It's a huge loss. By the way, I think Points Boost is the new thing that they're going to call it, which we can get into in a second.
Right. Yes, you're right. Yes.
But yeah, the loss of 1.5 down to a floor, they're calling it a 1 cent per point. That's a pretty significant loss there for the card.
Yeah, it's important to note that these changes aren't happening immediately, and this is going to come up when we talk about Amex. But for folks who, let me take that back. For folks who hold the card, they're not going to make these changes immediately. So if you hold or upgrade to the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I think you get until 2027. So you get all this year and all next year, which, look, if you're going to make a negative change like that, this is the right way to do it. You can't take a cardholder that's already paid their annual fee and say, hey, I know we said you were going to get this benefit when you paid your annual fee, but now you're not going to get it for the rest of the year. That's a problem. And I think they did the right thing by extending this as far as they did, and people have time to plan for it, if you will. And if you've been saving up for that dream trip, you're doing a safari next year, you got time to plan for this and still use your points at that 1.5 cents and not end up getting left holding the bag.
moving towards the future, they've announced something called Points Boost, which I do not think I've seen the details of anywhere. But here's Kerr's complete speculation: is that there will be specific airlines and hotels at specific time frames that you can redeem for more than 1 cent per point.
Yeah.
And my expectation is that Chase has gone to these programs and said, "You guys fund this if you want to be, top of search results and have people book your flights." And that way, Chase is deflecting the cost of 1.5. Look, I'm telling you, Bilt is 1.25 cents each for flights and hotels. It's insanely expensive for the program. 1.5 is just not feasible, right? We're also no annual fee card, no annual fee program, just not feasible. So they were losing a lot of money on this, and I think it's a clever way to solve the problem, but I think it's a big loss for the consumer. But I think that's all we know about Points Boost, and that is my speculation of how it's going to be working.
Yeah, so to your point, let's talk a little bit about some of the coupon book, if you will, of benefits. So $300 annual travel credit stays the same, no changes there. $500 edit hotel credit. So this is the Chase Hotel Collection. This isn't a straight $500. It's $250 twice a year, and it has to be a 2-night minimum stay. So I
most
struggle
of these places are going to be significantly higher than $125 a night.
Yes, correct. Like, you're going to be coming out of pocket for this. So you may get a good deal here or there, but you're going to have to work for it. Global entry credit stays in place. $300 annual dining credit. This is $150 twice a year, but this is also at Sapphire Reserve exclusive table restaurants. Again, these are probably going to be pricey restaurants. $250
footprint.
Yes. $250 combined between Apple TV and Apple Music subscription credits, a StubHub credit, Lyft credits, DoorDash credits, a year of Dash Pass for the first year, Peloton credits. Like, all these are fine, and they could end up to getting value. Like, if you already have a Peloton, okay, you're going to get that value back as part of your annual fee. But I think, as you like to say, and say more eloquently than me, you're giving them $800 and you're earning it back $10 at a time.
Look, I'm gonna tell it how it is tonight, Ed, with the bravery of the Chianti behind me. When these announcements came out, I saw a lot of dressing this up as better than I think a logical person should look at this. And I think all of us know, the creators that dress these things up know why that they dress these things up. But at the end of the day, you now need a second spreadsheet to chart or to keep track of all of these things, many of which you're not going to use. More importantly, people don't talk about this, many of which are going to just require you to spend more money than you would have spent anyways in order to use a lot of these. And at the end of the day, stop accepting the fact that people say these credits negate the annual fee. It's just not true. You are out $800 of completely flexible cash in order to be very time restricted and very brand restricted in how that cash is used. So I still, to this day, as I've been saying for years, do not buy that these credits are quote unquote reducing the annual fee so that you're coming out ahead at the end of the day. It's just not the case for the vast majority of people who are going to be getting and using this card. So I just don't buy it, man. And it's not for me. Again, we don't know what the welcome bonus is going to be, but now $800 a year, dude, it's just a lot. And I'm going to tell everybody else, don't forget, I still hold the Ritz-Carlton card. Well, technically Mrs. Kerr does. That is the best card in Chase, right? That is the best card. We get the Chase Sapphire Lounge access. We get a much more flexible travel credit. You get the free 85K cert from Marriott per night. So before you go for the Chase Sapphire Reserve, see if you can product change your Marriott card into the Ritz-Carlton card.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things that are quote unquote improving. You will be able to hold both Chase cards going forward, so you can have a preferred and a reserve. I don't know who.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
I don't know who that's going to apply to, but you could do that. The other thing I think, which is a good plus, and it's something that Amex has done for a while, is Chase is going to tell you if you're eligible for a bonus when you apply. Or, sorry, let me rephrase. As it's been framed, they're going to tell you if you're not eligible for a bonus and whether you.
We have the Chase pop-up jail, just like the Amex pop-up jail. It's going to be here. So, good luck to everybody who gets stuck in the Chase pop-up jail. We're going to have 1,000 long comment sections of data points and people figuring this out. It's going to be fun, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's still undefined here, but I think, by and large, these might be cards that are worth picking up for the sign-up bonus. So, like, this might be the time that we see the 100,000 Ultimate Rewards point offer come back for Chase Sapphire Reserve. But it's going to be hard for me to justify spending $800 to hold this card in my account because I can't use a lot of I can't. I won't use a lot of the quote unquote coupon certificates. And I'm very bad at tracking these. It's just not something I'm good at.
That's something I'm going to do, which leads me to what Amex put out that said we're going to be doing the biggest investment ever. I think you can probably find the exact wording in the language, but the biggest investment in the history of, I don't know if it was cards or Amex or what, in upgrading the Amex Platinum card. This card is a tough sell for me, period. And without knowing any details, I think it is very safe to say that the annual fee is going to be close to $1,000 a year to hold this thing, man. But, two questions. One, what do you think they're going to be adding or doing to this that is, beyond just another credit, but is structurally significant? And then two, if it's close to $1,000 a year, are you in for the Amex Platinum card?
Well, as you recall, I don't have an Amex Platinum card now.
I don't either, yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I would consider getting one was the bonus miles for direct bookings of airlines. Like that was a big one. My guess is that will go away just based on the way we're seeing the Chase changes where
it's really expensive.
Really
expensive. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they'll push more things through their portal. And I think, look, I mean, I don't have a ton of experience booking through the portals, but the experiences I do have are not necessarily positive. I mean, it's fine to an extent with certain things. Changes are difficult, cancellations are difficult, tracking refunds are difficult. Like there's a lot of friction getting these things booked. And that's a problem for me. So, but I think that's Business Platinum. So let's take a step back. You asked me before we talk about Business Platinum. You asked me if I would hold this card and what I thought they would add. So I think they'll add a category of increased earning for hotels that you book through their portal. My guess is they'll likely reduce the amount of miles or points that you earn for booking things direct and push potentially flights through the portal as well, because that's the way the Business Platinum card is set up. And I've never really understood why the Business Platinum card had that restriction and the Personal Platinum card didn't, since I would think the Personal Platinum person is less sensitive because they're not booking as often. So they'd be okay using a portal once or twice, whereas, from a business traveler standpoint, it drives me up a freaking wall. Yep. So I think they'll force people more into their ecosystem. I'd be more inclined to trust the Amex ecosystem over the Chase ecosystem because they've been booking travel longer and their booking experience is better, but I still don't love it.
What could the Amex Platinum card do? Let's say that their annual fee goes to, $9.95. Let's just say. What could they do that would make you go, you know what? I think that card might be for me. That might be something I'm willing to pay every year.
Man, what would I spend $1,000 for a credit card?
$1,000 for a credit card.
I got to be honest. You know what it would be? And talk about a good segue. It would be for the Platinum card, it would be the benefit that they're getting rid of on the Business Platinum card, which would be flexibility on how to book, but I get a rebate. And so this benefit's been around for a long time. And I remember, you probably do as well, probably the first person that really brought this to my attention was Brian Kelly, the points guy. Many years ago, he noted that he booked a lot of his tickets using his Amex Business Platinum card. And then he was booking cash tickets through their travel portal and getting a 35% rebate on the points needed for that booking. I wouldn't call this stellar, awesome, best value you're ever going to get, but you had tons of flexibility on what you could book. So if you found a cheap business class fare on the exact dates that you wanted for cash, it was easy to just get the rebate for your from your Amex Business Platinum. There's a huge benefit.
Do you remember when it was a 50% rebate before they knocked it down to 35%?
You're right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. That goes back, like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in there?
Dude, I had that benefit. And again, it was such a better way to book Delta tickets living in and out of her family in and out of Atlanta than ever transferring to Sky Miles. And I used to just wear that thing out.
Yeah.
35% is still better because it basically gives you 1.67 cents per point, which is much higher than what you're going to get out of every single Sky Mile. So the last Platinum card I did hold was the Business Platinum specifically for this rebate on Delta. But it looks like they're adding a few more restrictions. Do you have the details up in front of you of what is going away with this?
So the big deal is, and it's effective in September, so 2 months from time of recording, and right in the middle of a lot of people's annual fee year. The 35% will be restricted to whatever airline you select as your primary airline for the year. You can only pick this once. You pick it in January, and it has to be that airline. And as I recall, I don't know this for certain, but I think you can only I think they're all U.S. based airlines. I don't think there's any truly international airlines on the list of primary airlines that you select on a yearly basis for your fee credit. It used to be
So
you could use it for anything, but I think you can only use this for that list of U.S. based airlines.
So it was anything for business or first class, and then you had to select your airline for economy. Now it's no longer anything for business or first class. You have to pick the airline just like you did for economy. I think that's the big change that's
Correct.
coming through. And I just misspoke. It's now when you do 35% rebate, it's 1.54 cents per point, not 1.67. Like I said, I think I was thinking about the old City days where you got an even higher rebate for American flights. If you remember that on the City portal way back when the City Prestige first came out. So now it's, it used to be any business or first class flight that you found. Now it's going to be, you got to pick it just like you do for economy. And like you said, this takes effect on September 18th. So,
but I think and I know we're kind of saying the same thing, but I want to call this point out. You can't select every airline. You can't select Lufthansa.
You can't
one. Select every.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, but like the
from
list
the drop down list that I'm pretty sure still to this day says AirTran on it. I am pretty sure it still says that.
But it doesn't have international airlines. It's U.S. based airlines. So like a lot of the value for the 35% off was booking tickets on international carriers when they had really awesome business class fare sales. TAP Portugal, that was one like that for me was a way that I redeemed points because TAP Portugal typically has really cheap business class fares through Lisbon to other places in Europe. And now I can't use my Amex Business Platinum to get a rebate on a TAP Portugal paid business class ticket.
Yeah, turned every Amex point into 1.54 cents per point to erase the cheap business class fare was huge. Now you're going to be locked into, like you said, whatever's on that drop down menu, which because I haven't had the business platinum now in a couple of years, I'm still not sure what's on there. But the last time I selected one, AirTran, ladies and gentlemen, was still on there. Just like if you go to Expedia and they say, hey, what loyalty number do you want to use? You can still go on there and pick your Continental number. You can still go on there and pick your America West number. Like they're just like, you know what? We don't need to update this for the last 30 years. We're good to go with what we got. So don't pick your BMI Diamond Club number or like whatever's still on there.
Yeah, I remember reading one article in the past 24 hours since this came out. And one of the things they were talking about was like, well, this really isn't that bad because you can book code share, so you could still pick United and book a TAP flight. But I think, as you well know, on a good number of international flights, when you're booking the code share, the prices are usually whack. I mean, in some cases where there's a JV and it's metal neutrality, the prices are fine. But if they don't have that sort of a JV and it's not metal neutral, meaning they're all sharing the revenue on the route, the pricing can be just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I've spent a lot of time on this in the day job over the last 6 months and looking at code share fares. They are just insane.
They're
There's
a mess.
Not anybody on this planet who can explain to you what is going on. It is just whatever the computer says. It does not make any sense.
Yeah, so here's the question I would ask you. Knowing that this benefit is now gone from the Amex Biz Platinum, what is it that you would have to want to hold this card in your wallet?
I think two things. One is a resurgence in the Centurion Lounge. I think out of the Chase lounges, I think out of the Capital One lounges and Centurion lounges, Centurion is far behind at this point. There's no more protein in the lounges. They're overcrowded, and there's just not anything that makes me feel special about standing in a line to get into the Centurion Lounge. Specifically calling out you, Atlanta, who has failed their health inspection, and now Charlotte Centurion Lounge that failed their health inspection. I just don't think the people in charge get it. And again, this is Kerr's personal opinion of my own experience in my own hometown airport and what I'm going off of. So what is it going to have to do? They're going to have to put a lot of work in the Centurion lounges. They're going to have to put a multiplier on that card that's going to make me want to think about putting spend on that card. And then I really think you're going to have to compete in whatever the new points boost world is for Chase. You're going to have to compete with, is City still 1.25 or City now the points? I'll be honest, man, I've spent very little time looking at the new strata cards and all this. Is their portal still a floor of 1 cent per point? I think it is.
I think so, but I'm not sure either. I haven't played in the strata pool.
But these are the times now with, low cost carriers, Spirit, Frontier, Southwest, Delta. It makes more sense for me often to book through the portal than to transfer and book an award ticket just because I'm getting more at a flat 1.25 cents per point. If that rebate goes away, or even if it drops down to say 25% away from the 35%, it's just not going to be there, man. So like what, and I am just not keeping track of all the coupons that only make you spend more money that you wouldn't have spent.
Well,
so
and unfortunately the Biz Platinum has a lot less of those coupons because it's geared more towards business travelers business owners. And the keys here are like the two big categories for the Amex Biz Plat are 5 points per dollar for flights, prepaid hotels, not regular hotel bookings,
Yep.
and then packages that are booked on Amex's travel site, amextravel.com. The other big benefit on this card is on larger purchases of your business owner. You get 1.5 points per dollar on any purchases that are $5,000 or more. That's really what you get. Like, there's not a whole lot else. You obviously get Centurion Lounge access, but it's not like this card has like a long list of benefits that you can really burn the fee down against. What I will say. Well, I won't say what I will ask you. I have a question for you. You definitely answered my question about what it would take to hold on to the card, and I tend to agree with you. Let me take it back a second. There are some coupon book items for the Amex card. I don't even remember all of them. Like, there's the Dell credit. There's like I think there's a LinkedIn or an Indeed credit, like business type things, QuickBooks into it. So that there are some credits, so you can earn something back on it. But you have to actually be a business owner, and you have to have all those services in your business to get close to using those up. I think this is a slam dunk question, but I mean, you look at what Amex has done to their cards. You look at where things are going with the Chase Sapphire cards. I mean, how big of a win is this for Capital One with the venture cards?
It's funny you say that, because I have not seen an article yet that just talks about just get a VentureX card, just get a venture card. I haven't seen that yet, and I keep waiting for, like, we're going to talk about this, we're going to talk about it. And then, just again, to give everybody insight into the day job, we've made no secret about Built Card 2.0 coming. Like, we are deeply looking at what everybody else is doing to see, what makes sense now in the landscape that we live in. But I think out of all these cards, the VentureX is just a no-brainer right now, and I really hope that they don't start to mess with this. And one of the reasons why, like, I have a Capital One high-yield savings account now. We still have the VentureX card. The technology is super easy to use, and the value prop is super simple. Outside of remembering to use your $300 travel credit with a VentureX card, like, what else is there to remember?
Right.
2x on everything. It's great travel protections. You can redeem it against any travel purchase you make with the card, and you get $300 a year, and then you get the Capital One lounge access. That's it. And it's so simple. And I think, at a much lower annual fee than what we're seeing from Chase and Amex now, it is the clear winner. And then once you get the 10,000 anniversary bonus miles on top of that, again, miles, Capital One, we know they're not miles, but there you go. Get your 10,000 bonus. I agree. It is the clear winner amongst this space.
Yeah, I mean, let's do the math here. Like, your Sapphire Reserve is $795. Amex Biz Plat is at $695. Personal Plat is $695 too, right? Yeah.
For now.
Right, exactly right. So we know it's going to go up.
Yeah.
I would imagine, like, I think they were both $550 before they went to $695, if I remember correctly.
Sounds right.
So I don't think they go to $795. To your point, my guess is they're probably going to $850 or $895, and probably part of it is they believe they're more premium than Chase, and they might be. So I think they're going to go for a slightly higher annual fee because they think they can get it. And then to your point, I think you just spelled it out. VentureX is a $395 annual fee. While you can't use the $300 credit on any hotel booking, you can use it on any hotel booking on their platform. And I'll say, like, their platform is not horrible. It's somewhere in between the Chase platform and the Amex platform. Like, I like the Amex platform better, but the Cap One platform is, reasonably easy to use. And the credit is a no-nonsense $300 off of any hotel booking. I actually think it works for airline tickets too, but just, any booking. And so at that point, you've netted down to $95 with one travel booking of an annual fee versus starting at a number that's $800 or higher for Sapphire Reserve or these Amex Platinum cards and having to work your way back down to zero.
Yeah.
For the normal everyday human who's not like you or I and can keep track of 7 million things on a spreadsheet, VentureX just makes a ton of sense for them.
Which, by the way, I'm not doing. I've been very clear about. I'm not doing.
You're trolling for that now.
I'm not getting to June 15th and going, what do I need from Saks? What do I need from Dell? The answer is nothing. And by the way, like, the no more free shipping from Saks is like, everybody's like, there's a code out there that's work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work all the time.
I forgot to tell you. So we're recording on June 19th, right? I have the Amex Business Platinum card. Did I tell you what I used my $200 Dell credit for this time?
Did you get another bag that you don't need?
I used it for absolutely nothing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I just didn't have the time to, like, search for something I had no need for.
There's like, this was a running joke when I first moved to this house and met some of the rival dads. The only thing that I could use the Dell credit for every time was another TV, because they would put these like cheap brand smart TVs on sale for whatever. And after the portal earnings and after I had, multiple Amex Business Platinums at one point, I would just get a new smart TV. Like my attic had like 3 smart TVs in a row. And like we were playing poker one night out on the back porch, and they're like, yeah, we need to have the game out here. And I was like, well, why? We do need to have the game out here. I was like, hold on a second. And I literally left the poker night, walked up to my attic, and came down with a brand new, never been opened smart Wi-Fi TV that had just been sitting there from Dell credits. That I hadn't, I was like, what am I going to do with this thing one day? And I'm like, hold on, somebody got a razor blade, help me open this TV. And all the rival dads are like, hold on, what just happened? You got a TV just chilling in your attic? I was like, I got 2 more up there too, because every 6 months I just get another TV. And they're like, who is this guy? Like, what? And then I thought about it, and I was like, that was actually a really hard flex. Like, yeah, guys, that's right. I just got a bunch of free Wi-Fi TVs up in my attic, and we watched the game out there on the porch. And then literally the next time we had poker, we had 2 TVs so that we could watch football on this one and baseball on this one. And they were like, who is this guy? Like, what? Like, dude, Dell credits, man. I just got smart TVs coming out the wazoo of the attic up there. Like, that was really funny when that happened.
And sadly, all that stuff has disappeared. You used to be able to buy Nintendo Switch games and all this stuff, and now it's like, hey, let me get another Bluetooth speaker. That's what I need. So typically, like, if I remember to use the credit, I buy a couple of Bluetooth speakers and we give them away as employee prizes. Like, okay, I mean, like, it's not a $0 value, but I'm certainly not getting $200 in value from Bluetooth speakers I give away as employee gifts.
Yeah, but there are people out there that are just gonna, sell everybody on this. Like, it whittles that annual fee down like it's nothing. Like, stop it. No, it's not. Like,
we have missed the train, Mr. Kerr. We need to be selling this hard.
All the money that I get paid for credit card signups every single day, I should be careful about what I say, which is 0. But honestly, the only one that I'm taking is because of how flexible the Venture X credit is. Like, we're all of us listening to this podcast are going to spend $300 a year on travel, and in a reasonable portal, that's great. And I forgot that it's actually good on flights as well, which is perfect because I got a flight coming up from Denmark to Latvia that I got to book for the family. That $300, which I have not used yet this year, it's going to be very handy to use.
And you can, by the way, if you have more than one Venture X card, which some of us do, you can combine the credits on one booking.
Tasty.
All right, Mr. Kerr. Well, as I sit here in rural Nova Scotia and starting to run out of high-speed Wi-Fi before our signal dies again, and I return to the U.S. with my triumphant suitcase filled with fresh baked bread and maple syrup. All the things I love. How
stereotypical of you.
Very much so. I think it's worth noting that I won't be asking you where you're traveling this coming week, because you and I will be together again.
Together again, Ed and Kerr. Pizza
that was horrible.
Richard. What?
That was so horrible. And Julian will be joining us, so maybe we'll do a little selfie video thingamabobber for a few minutes. And,
I love doing thingamabobbers with men. That's my favorite.
One too many margaritas for Mr. Kerr. Any other interesting travel coming up the next week or so?
Next week or so, no. It is a whole lot of New York City for the next month, but then it's the fun family Europe trip for 2 weeks, and then it's Baja Mar, and then it's Toronto. So a lot of fun is coming up after some New York City.
Well, I do have my New York City same time as you. I go to Vegas from there. We also have a Slack community meetup if you want to join us. A few bucks a month. We have almost weekly happy hours, except when I have absolutely no Wi-Fi up here in the boonies. And we have some meetups coming up. I haven't set the date for the Vegas one, but do have one coming up at Disney World, Mr. Kerr's favorite place in all the world. So we can close down Sawyer Island before it goes away. So if you want to be a part of that, spend a couple of bucks, support the show, feed the poor and hungry Kerr and Ed.
I don't think anybody's ever claimed that publicly, but yeah, sure. Now that I have the date for these meetups, I'm going to try and make a couple of them since I tend to be on this podcast from time to time, because saying goodbye to Tom Sawyer Island, do I need a park reservation for that, or am I good for that date? That you're not going to know unless you're a member of the Slack community.
I'm pretty sure you need a park reservation for Magic Kingdom now. Yes.
Okay, let me make sure that's available.
Pull out your slide rule and see what the rule is. I have no idea.
I have no idea. Like, it's a pass free day, but sometimes I'll walk up and forget to make one. They're like, you're fine. Other times they're like, I don't know, man. It's whatever.
All right, Mr. Kerr, I will see you in New York in just a few days. I can't wait to join you with Mr. Julian Keel. Maybe, like I said, we'll record a couple minutes of video for everybody to to see what a bonding moment looks like between three not very attractive but very intelligent men.
Speak for yourself, man. I'm really good looking.
Look, this is the only group of three where men as old as we are, where I can have by far the most hair of the three of us. So,
yeah. Also, actually, I'm pretty sure Julian's older than you now that we think about it. As you guys keep going, yeah, he's older than you. So I'll take it as the much younger
and better
person
looking
in the group. Yeah, it's so much better. Look how I look good tonight with this light and everything going on. I like it. Yeah.
I think we need to do more of these where you drink Chianti during the show. And drink Chianti before the show and margaritas during the show. It's
for the last 6 months, we've just recorded during the work hours. So yeah, we've had to be reverent.
Well, it is officially past your bedtime, Mr. Kerr. So
it is so past my bedtime.
Please ask Emily to go tuck you in. I'll see you in New York in just a few days. Until we upload again, we've got miles to go.
Yeah, dude, you're just freezing the whole time, man. You are as frozen as a caveman. I can hear you on a delay, but yeah, it's kind of rough. What kind of Hilton is this? Where is this? What are they doing? Don't you have Hilton status? Can't you get the premium Wi-Fi? You froze up as well. This is great. Thank you, Hilton. Thank you, Hilton Wi-Fi. Completely frozen with the dumbest look on your. I'm taking a screenshot of this. This is awesome.